alone. These numbers are historic just as a snapshot. But just so people don't think we're focusing on violent crime alone, the national security mission, Mr. President, under your leadership has never been stronger. We have gone after espionage activities against our main counterparts in China, Russia, and Iran. In China alone, we've had over a 50% increase in espionage and arrests alone in prosecution. In Iran, we have had a 50% increase, again, in espionage cases. And in Russia, we've had a 33% increase in espionage cases alone. When it comes to counterterrorism, year to date, we have 125 arrests this year versus 100 last year, year to date alone. And when it comes to the cyber criminal activities, which are some of the largest enterprises plaguing everyday Americans, we at the FBI have put out a mission to go after cyber criminals like never before. Last year, they had in total 191. This year, you already have 252 arrests. 52 arrests of violent cyber criminals who are stealing from senior citizens, who are violating our children's rights and freedoms, and who are violating everyday Americans. These programs are record. And two of the things I'll finish with that I'm most proud of, Mr. President, this FBI. Fentanyl. As you know, it's a scourge that's killing our youth, 100,000 plus a year.
Okay.
To date, the FBI has seized 1,900 kilograms of fentanyl. That's enough lethal doses to kill 127 million Americans alone. To date.
They're the worst.
And if that weren't enough, Mr. President,
so much at your fingertips.
You said we have to go after the worst of the worst. And you empowered our Department of Justice, our Attorney General, Deputy Attorney General, and the Deputy Director at the FBI, led the charge, not just on summer heat, but also led the charge to the FBI's 10 most wanted fugitives. These people have been on the run for years. And in 7 months, you captured not one, not two, not three, but 4 of the FBI's most top 10 fugitives. 4. And just to put that in perspective, Mr. President, the Biden administration captured 4 and all 40 of them. You're on 7, and we're going to get to 10. We're going to get to 10 of 10. This includes a lady who murdered her 6-year-old handicapped child and fled to India. We got her in 2 months. This includes a narco trafficker. This includes a sex trafficker. This includes another first-degree murder. These people were on the run because of the prior administration's reckless policies.
I don't think this one got shot.
And you came in and with a mandate said, go after the worst of the worst. This is just the beginning. This is what happens when you let good cops be good cops at the FBI. Mr. President, I just want to thank you for your incredible leadership, our great partnership with prosecutors who know how to bring cases and make sure these arrests stick. And that's what the Attorney General and the Deputy Attorney General have led the charge across this country. Because arrests without prosecutions are meaningless. We are deterring criminals from doing this activity. We are preventing criminals from coming into America. And we are absolutely crushing violent crime like never before and defending this homeland, sir. And not to mention, I almost forgot this one. It took you, sir, 2 weeks to get the Abbey Gate bomb. Joe Biden had 4 years to look for him. You got him in 2 weeks, thanks to the interagency effort by the FBI and CIA, went to Pakistan, and now 13 brave warriors who were sentenced to murder because of disastrous Afghanistan withdrawal. They have justice, their families have a peace of mind, and we're going to continue to find the others, Mr. President. On behalf of the FBI,
I don't know what else will, on top of what happened. You know, previously, we now have 3 in recent days.
President Trump, the men and women of law enforcement say 2 things to me repeatedly. First, you have taken the handcuffs off them and let them do their jobs, and you let cops be cops. That's why all this is happening. The director, the deputy director are working around the clock. All of these great men and women in the FBI, they have families at home, and they are working during a government shutdown right now. Many of them have small children. Many of them, I was talking to an agent this morning, many of them have babies at home, and they are working around the clock to not only keep our country, but our world safe. And that's what Operation Summer Heat did. Thank you, Director, and to the Deputy Director for everything you did on behalf of the Department of Justice, and you're going to continue to keep doing. And they set the stage for what we're doing in Memphis. You're going to hear a lot more about that, our joint task force next week, but they set the stage for Memphis. And last night alone in Memphis, there were almost 70 arrests. There were 12 guns seized. And there was a 70-year-old man arrested as a result of our operation in Memphis who raped a child under the age of 3. That one case makes everything we're doing worthwhile.
They really don't want to do it.
So thank you all for being here on behalf of both of us.
Maybe he'll give them a deal they can't
Trump.
refuse.
Do you want to say something? Sure.
Make
Thank
them
you.
an
Thank you,
offer.
Mr. President. So this is a great day, and I think there's stats that the director talked
with the
about
little
which are important.
horse
But I want
head
to
in
give
your
two
bed.
examples of what summer heat has done
Be singing
that
the right
actually
tune
will
before too
apply
much.
hopefully to everybody in this room. The first is for over 4 years during the last administration, there was a hotel in a town, the middle of a town in Alaska, that was being run as a drug den.
Sound should be.
There were over 1,000 calls to 911 over
you.
four and a half year period.
We probably got a double.
There
up
were
somewhere. Thank you. I forgot to close my browser window. Got stuff running in the background. Thank you, B-Cup. Okay. Serves me right for not checking my audio meters before I started. Bink. All right. Well, that's fixed. Apologies. Sorry. It's been a morning of or evening of just technical issues. So what's one more? All right. Anyway, you guys missed nothing. You didn't miss much. Okay. So don't worry. You're good. Scavino this morning, North American Aerospace Defense Command, NORAD, will conduct exercise Falcon Virgo, a live fly air defense exercise today between midnight and 2 a.m. in the National Capital Region. So I suppose that would have been last night, technically, ish, sort of. You know what I mean. I didn't really hear anything. Some choppers, but they're always running choppers here. It's nothing out of the usual. Okay, U.S. Attorney General Pambani announced the DOJ executed a search warrant. Oh yeah, heard about this one. A search warrant at a Washington Post reporter's home who was apparently publishing classified information. The leaker was identified as a Pentagon contractor and is now behind bars. Pardon me. Wonder what they were leaking. Speaking of Bondi, I hear word on the street is Trump's not too pleased with her. That's what I saw making the rounds. I don't know. FBI raided the home of Washington Post reporter Hannah Natanson this morning, related to her suspected unauthorized handling and sharing of classified info on Signal chats. Aha. James Comer says we're going to hold both Clintons in criminal contempt of Congress. Just as he said he would. That's what he said he would do. Now it's time to do.
We're going to hold both Clintons in criminal contempt of Congress. We believe that because this subpoena was issued in a bipartisan fashion, the Democrats acted the day that the subpoenas were voted on in the subcommittee like they wanted the Clintons to come because they at that time, if you go back, they were wanting me to subpoena the estate, which I did. We subpoenaed the estate and got all the documents, everything. That was what the victims asked. That's what the Democrats asked. I think that's what the American people wanted. We subpoenaed the estate, got 100% of the documents. I have subpoenaed the Department of Justice and Pam Bondi for the documents, which they are producing. Now, we don't like the speed. We all wish the documents would come in quicker, but we've gotten tens of thousands of pages of documents from the Department of Justice. And remember, they made a big document drop, and the Democrats cried foul because they said they didn't.
Demanded redactions.
Right, they wanted more redactions. So they're double and triple checking this. And the Department of Justice is complying with our lawful subpoena. The estate complied with our lawful subpoena. Bill Barr, Alex Acosta came in and were deposed because of our lawful subpoena. This same lawful subpoena was issued to the Clintons, and they defied it. And you know, Bill Clinton's trying to play the victim card here. Only Bill Clinton could try to triangulate something that's happened, a terrible atrocity to these survivors that have had to endure who knows what from Epstein and Maxwell. So
and their associates.
So we're trying to get answers to the American people. We're serious about it. Once again, not a single Democrat showed up. You know how many depositions we've done? There's always a Democrat here. The former President of the United States, former Secretary of State, neither one of them, not a single Democrat here. So I think the questions that should be asked to the Democrats on the committee are do you still support hearing from the Clintons? Because, some have asked what's Hillary got to do with anything? Well, Jeffrey Epstein claimed, and I don't know if this is true or not, because I think a lot of what Jeffrey Epstein said was just not true, but he has said that he helped set up the Clinton Foundation. There are records that would imply that Epstein helped raise money for the Clinton Foundation. And the last thing, we are going to depose Maxwell. As you know, I've subpoenaed Maxwell. We have, and her lawyers asked us to wait till the Supreme Court or the court ruled on her appeal. Then the lawyer said she was going to plead the fifth.
Liar.
We are going to depose Maxwell.
Bravo. Good. See one of you out there, MLSR1RZ in YouTube chat saying bombs heard in Iran. Oh, yeah. Let's see. What is the latest over there? Filters. Yeah, give me last hour. Trump says he was told killings in Iran are stopping or will stop, are in the process of being stopping, maybe-ish. Claims on good authority that executions in Iran are stopping. That was an hour ago. But this being Iran, they could have already busted that shit. So who knows? Who effing knows? I don't. Oh, excuse me. Hope that caffeine hits soon. Denmark and Greenland officials have arrived at the White House to meet with J.D. Vance and Macro Rubio. Looking rather somber. Yes, you should probably bow, yes. Okay. Well, there we go. CBS News confirms. Excuse me again. Confirms that the ICE agent who was forced to deploy lethal force against Renee Good suffered internal bleeding in the torso, directly contradicting slanderous reports by high-ranking Democrats and mainstream outlets like CNN that her vehicle never made contact, even though we can all see it in multiple angles, especially the one clearly hit. Well, yeah, we've seen this 1,000 times. Yep. Even CBS News, huh? Okay. This one we saw. U.S. freezing all visa processing for 75 countries, including Somalia, Russia, Iran, Cameroon, Nigeria, Kenya, Sudan, South Sudan, probably a whole bunch of others in Africa. Definitely a whole bunch of others in Africa. Most of them, I think. Proud to have co-authored this amicus brief supporting standing in this case. Now, federal candidates may challenge mail-in ballot procedures. Okay. It's from Harvey Dillon. Supreme Court unanimously rules that police may enter a home without a warrant in order to render emergency aid when they have an objectively reasonable basis to believe that someone inside faces serious harm, rejecting any probable cause requirement. I'm surprised they wow. I thought that was like pretty settled. I didn't know they were ruling on something relating to that. Ugh. Sheesh, y'all. All right. Minneapolis ICE agent rammed by Renee Good's vehicle, suffered internal bleeding. Little clip on it.
Remember, I told you we were going to be watching Minneapolis, and we have some new information. Department of Homeland Security sources telling Fox News the ICE agent who was hit by Renee Nicole Good's car suffered internal bleeding in his torso. That is the same Immigration and Customs Enforcement agent who was seriously wounded last June when he was dragged by a car during attempted arrest.
Yeah, wild.
Car rammed him and then dragged him. And by the way, there was street camera footage of some of that. The CBS local station, WCCO, covered that story last June extensively. We'll keep you posted on the situation as we get new information. Remember, I told
Yep. Burchett confirms Bill and Hillary Clinton refused to obey a House Oversight Committee subpoena and are now facing contempt charges.
Hey, everybody.
Just like Steve Bannon and Peter Navarro, who didn't show up and then got sent to, that's right, federal pound me in the ass prison. Is that where Slick Willie's going to go? Come on now.
Hey, everybody. Tim Burchett just left they're trying to, they subpoenaed Bill and Hillary Clinton on the Epstein situation. Of course, they no-showed. You know, my buddy Steve Bannon and Peter Navarro didn't show up, and they got sent to prison. That's a double standard. And I'll tell you, the bigger double standard is when I mentioned that in the press conference. I wish we'd had it on film, but the press just put their cameras down immediately when I said that. I looked across the front row, 3 or 4 of them, right like that. It's these cards are very much stacked against us and justice. And the Clintons, of course, they thumb their nose at justice because they're allowed to. They've been allowed to since they were in Arkansas, and they're going to continue to do it. And it's really a shame that that's the pinnacle of success for the Democrat Party, really, is that bunch. But that's what we're dealing with. And, of course, they had a paid agitator out there yelling at us during this thing and during the press conference, and just pathetic, really. But that's where the left is right now. Thank y'all for sending me here.
Thank y'all for sending me here. ICE moving fast in Minneapolis. Ford Fisher's in Minneapolis. Okay, good for you, buddy. Swarms of officers tailed by press and community activists.
Get behind the light pole! Get behind the light pole! Get back!
Yep. Multiple arrests happening at this specific location here. Yeah. This apparently happened on Capitol Hill today. I don't know.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Since you bring it up, why don't we just start there? Dr. Verma, I wasn't sure I understood your answer to Senator Moody a moment ago.
No, is this Holly just getting his haha look? I make fun of all the trans retard crowd. Is this just his pat me on the back time? I mean, this stuff's bad. And it's cringe. He's asking them, can men get pregnant? And they sit there and make fools of themselves. I think we've seen that show. I think we've seen that show probably 100 times. And now would be the time to do stuff. Now would be the time to get shit done, Mr. Hawley. At least it makes good content, I guess. But
thank you.
Not too pleased with Hawley of late.
Mr. Chairman, since you bring it up, why don't we just start there? Dr. Verma, I wasn't sure I understood your answer to Senator Moody a moment ago. Do you think that men can get pregnant?
I hesitated there because I wasn't sure where the conversation was going or what the goal was. I mean, I do take care of patients with different identities. I take care of many women. I take care of people with different identities. And so that's where I paused. I think.
I mean, I get this is an election year, Mr. Hawley, but like, you'd probably be better off if you actually did stuff instead of, I don't know, just making social media highlight reels. Thousands of fake students submitted fraudulent financial aid applications in California, totaling $8.4 million. Is that all? Oh, okay. There we go. This was just at a handful of community colleges. The level of fraud taking place in California is unbelievable. Yeah.
Considering changes to the application system due to a flood of fraudulent financial aid applications from hundreds of thousands of fake students. Officials say scammers stole over $8 million in federal funds and nearly $3 million in state aid in 2024. Community college officials are struggling to determine if applications are real or AI generated. They're now considering an application fee to help root out fakes. The state lawmakers are
going to have to.
Calling for an audit to figure out how widespread the problem really is. Considering
it's bad. It's real bad. Especially in this current era of rapid AI growth and, you know, vast swaths of the population just not understanding it at all. Not even a little bit. It leaves people wide open for getting taken to the cleaners at the federal level and at the individual. I just read about one the other day. Check this out. My God. I just read about this one like 2 or 3 days ago. And it piqued my interest because of something that my mom does with my daughter. Like, so whenever we get like one of those robocalls coming into the family house, to our home phone line, my mom will go pick it up, and you know she's goofy. She likes to have fun, so she'll like sit there and mess with the person on the other end, right? She'll like start feeding them lines and stuff, and she'll, you know, her and my daughter will just laugh uproariously. They'll have so much fun doing this, right? So what do I read just the other day? Check this out. Massive scam numbering I think close to $1 billion. I think it's actually one of the most like extensive fraud cases ever. I'll have to see if I can find it. But what these people were doing, they were using these robocall things, calling people, and then getting recordings of their voices when they answered the phone on the other line, and then using those recordings of their voices to train AIs to then fake their voices. And then they would use that fake voice to order really fucking expensive medical equipment. To the tune of damn near $1 billion. How insane is that? So naturally, of course, I tell mom, like, yeah, don't do that anymore. You can't do that shit anymore, mom. You're gonna end up with like, you know, $100,000 in debt for industrial medical equipment that you didn't buy. You don't want to do that. Let me see if I can find the case, because it's a wild one. It's nuts. Let me pop my share back up here. It's crazy stuff, man. The stuff these people are doing. It's disgusting. AI voice fraud case. I think it was Canada, California. It was all over the place. These guys were acting. I believe they were from Pakistan. Yeah, deep fake medical equipment. Let's see if that pulls it up. Here we go. See how difficult that was to find? It's how little reporting on this shit there is. There it is. 200 million deepfake disaster. How AI voice and video scams are fooling cybersecurity experts. I think this is actually it. Yep, that's it. Bingo. Pakistani-led criminal network used AI to create fake recordings of Medicare patients. The recordings appeared to show the patients agreeing to receive medical equipment and COVID-19 test kits that they never requested. There it is. $703 million. Told you, one of the biggest of all time. And no one talks about this. I don't know that I've seen any reporting on this anywhere. And it's fucking bonkers, dude. 703 million. 703 million fucking dollars. Just by running a shitty little freaking AI service. They probably just did that shit on a remote like server farm somewhere, paid like $1 an hour. It's cheap as heck. Use that shit to train a few recordings and bada bing. You waltz right into 700 million. Is it any wonder we can't have nice things? Rep. Tom Emmer has confirmed that congressional investigators now have Minnesota state employees, federal whistleblowers, signing affidavits. Yep. They claim they personally warned Governor Tim Walz and his staff about the fraud, but they simply looked the other way because they're complicit. They knew, and they were benefiting.
The big news that we got in the last 24 hours is that Tom Emmer, the number 3 member of the House, Republican leadership, he has confirmed on the record that congressional investigators are now have Minnesota state employees. We've known that there were these whistleblowers, these state legislators were talking to them. They've now become federal and congressional whistleblowers, and they're signing affidavits. And what Tom Emmer says is in the affidavits is people saying, I personally talked to the governor and his staff, Governor Tim Walz and his staff, and I told them about this fraud, told them it needed to be stopped, and they did nothing. They looked the other way. That is very significant. Now, Tom Emmer said, I think that's enough to bring criminal charges and to put the man in cuffs. Now, that is a very significant moment because Congress will take that testimony. It will make a criminal referral. And there is a U.S. attorney out in Minnesota, no glitz, no glamour, but they are rolling up indictments and they mean business. And it is very likely that Tim Walz will not only be hauled before Congress, but this evidence, if referred from
he's getting arrested.
Congress to
he's fucked.
The U.S. Attorney and the Justice Department could result in Tim Walz becoming a subject or a target of the investigation. That's certainly what Tom Emmer thinks.
And oh, wow, and that's coming from Tom Emmer, huh? Well, told y'all for a good while now. Timmy's going down. A week after Renee Good was fatally shot by an ICE officer near her Minneapolis home, her partner, parents, and 4 siblings have hired an attorney who represented none other than the family of George effing Floyd to file a claim against federal officers. So who? Which one? Which one is it? Ah, damn it. Paywalled. Round and round we go. Let's see if we can skip it. There we go. Romanucci and Blandin, Chicago. Of course. Where else? Iranian state TV just broadcast a picture of Trump from the Butler rally after he was shot with the words, "This time it won't miss." Okay, Danish and Greenlandic foreign ministers have left White House talks less than an hour and a half after their scheduled start. They don't look too pleased. Democrat Senator Alyssa Slutkin now under, federal investigation for urging the troops and deep state intelligence community to rebel against President Trump.
I'm Senator Alyssa Slotkin.
Senator Mark Kelly. Representative Chris Deluzio.
And I'm a moron. Bondi saying today the Justice Department sued Minnesota for using affirmative action to hire for its state agencies. It's a discriminatory DEI codified into bad state policy, and the Trump admin will not stand for it. Oh, they got Mayor Free on Fox News, huh? This should be interesting.
You're seeing it in real time. You are aware that 18 U.S. Code 111 makes it a federal crime to impede, interfere, or even assault officers. And we see the protesters crossing a line of protesting, throwing rocks, hitting cars, and interfering in the federal government's view of their operation of carrying out federal immigration law enforcement.
We have had perhaps tens of thousands of people peacefully protesting in the streets. And at the same time, they are going to stand up for their neighbors. And
you're seeing it in real time.
Oh, okay. So here we go regarding Iran. It's about to go down, guys. It's about to pop off in Iran. Like literally within the next 20 minutes. Israel on high alert amid expectations of imminent U.S. strike on Iran. Also, where'd it go? Reports of fighter jets heard over eastern Iraq. You know where that's going. Right over Iraq and straight into Iran. So here we go. Get ready. Okay. Lost our spot here. Hold on. There we go. Cool. Free again.
Would you agree that no one should be jumping at conclusions until we have that investigation, and then we'll find out what facts can come to light?
Well, I'm grateful that I'm not the one investigating this, nor is the city of Minneapolis. And when you have the secretary working at the federal government saying immediately that this was an action of self-defense, when you have the federal government booting the state government from the process entirely, there's concerns associated with that. I mean, look, we've all seen the video. I don't need to pass judgments here on it.
Well, yeah, because you've already done that for the past week.
But what I do know, and this is the bottom line, is look, I may have disagreements with some people that are part of your audience, but I hope that people can trust that I love my city. We are experiencing an extraordinary comeback. Crime is down in virtually every category.
Thanks to
virtually every neighborhood, small businesses were opening, and this whole
President Trump?
Chaos that's taking place, it's setting us back. And so my ask is simple.
Really?
Let us have that beautiful rebound. Let's keep the safety improvements going. Let's keep these small businesses opening. And right now, it's getting hard because, yeah, you've got people that are afraid to go into work. Schools have shut.
Which people?
Down. I mean,
would those be the people who don't belong here? Those ones?
We've only had 2 shootings as of recent in the city this year, and one of them was the ICE situation that you just pointed out.
Gee, I wonder why that would be. Could it be because law enforcement presence is through the roof? Not to mention the fear of terrible retribution for anything that just happens to pop out of line, catch the national attention. Certainly not due to anything you're doing. I'm going to skip the rest of these because screw this guy. Jeez. Border Commander Bavino firing back. Oh, he's great with he's an excellent talking head. He's very good.
Your response to the mayor telling ICE to get the F out of the city?
Sure, Mayor Fry seems to, again, Matt, we've said this many times, choose illegal aliens and criminal illegal aliens over the American citizens in his city. Let me say that again. He chooses criminal aliens, aliens that would harm children, kill, rape, and maim American citizens. He chooses them over his own citizens.
Your response to the...
Yep. Simple as that. Trump admin now surging more federal attorneys into Minnesota. Good. They're going to need them. Gears don't turn, sadly, without people to turn them.
Fox that the Trump administration is sending fresh federal prosecutors into Minneapolis and that those federal attorneys are going to actively and perhaps aggressively prosecute immigration cases under the Trump agenda. Sandra.
All right, Matt Finn, live there in Minneapolis for us. Thank you. John?
Good.
For their neighbors. Well, here's some of those neighbors that they're standing up for. This is ICE apprehensions.
Mayor Free saying, we're standing up for our neighbors. Here's the neighbors, meanwhile.
Criminal illegal aliens. Galwak Rotguy, convicted of homicide and assault. Mariama Kanu, convicted 2 counts of homicide, 4 DUIs, 3 counts of larceny and burglary. Ty Lohr, convicted of 2 counts of homicide. That's just 3 out of dozens that you have picked up in the city of Minneapolis.
Nice people, I'm sure.
This is no time to be playing games with national security and public safety, and that's what Democrats are doing, beating the drums up here. Remember what ICE stands for. It's Immigration and Customs Enforcement. They are enforcing the law. They are apprehending the dangerous criminals who were allowed into our country because Joe Biden kept the border wide open for 4 years. An estimated more than 20 million people came in. Many of them are a great danger to our community. A lot of them have collected in cities like Minneapolis. These sanctuary cities, they're all there, and so ICE has to go and do its job. There's a lot of spin on the Democrat side. They're assaulting our law enforcement officers, and they're breaking the law. They need to get out of the way and allow federal law enforcement to do its duty. That serves all the American people.
No idea. Germany sends non-NATO soldiers to Greenland. Because what? Troop deployment will be coordinated from Copenhagen rather than through NATO, which would have made the soldiers subject to NATO command in Norfolk. So they're trying to get around that for whatever reason. Clearly there's some reason. I wonder what. Okay. Yep, Germany will now deploy troops to Greenland after Rubio and Vance meet with Danish and Greenland officials at the White House. Obviously relating to something to do with all that, but what? Indian Rep Sri Thanedar, who can barely even speak English, oh yeah, it's bad, announces he's introducing a bill to abolish the ICE.
And we must, finally, we must reform ICE. But it looks at this stage, folks, ICE is beyond reform.
Oh, really?
ICE is totally out of control. And this week, I intend to introduce a bill to abolish ICE. We need to make ICE go away. 2003. Before 2003, without ICE, various federal agencies were able to take care of business, and we can do this without ICE. But we do not need the murderers. We do not need these paramilitary organizations.
We do not need Sri Tanadar.
Members on our street terrorize us.
This one can go back. I found one. ICE. Right here. This one. He can go back. We don't want him. Danish foreign minister after the Greenland meeting. Oh boy.
But it's not that I'm now, saying everything is solved. It's not solved. We didn't manage, but I honestly speaking, I didn't believe that was doable. We didn't manage to change the American position. It's clear that the president has this wish of conquering over Greenland. We made it very, very clear that this is not in the interest of the kingdom. There's a government in Greenland with support from 3/4 of the Greenlandic population. The premier made it very, very clear yesterday that Greenland, for the time being and for foreseeable future, will remain within the kingdom of Denmark. And therefore, this is a common position that we want to work with our American friends and allies, but it must be respectful cooperation and it must respect the red lines. But it's not.
Or we could smash you. I'm just saying we could. Not that we would or anything, but we could. We could. They threw piss. Make sure to write that down. Bortak agent in Minneapolis says a bottle of alleged urine was thrown at his vehicle. Someone threw a bottle of piss and it went all inside the vehicle.
You said someone threw a bottle full of piss at you? Is that what?
Yeah. If you want it, all this is all piss.
You're okay with me coming over to take a shot of
all this? Somebody threw
And a boy Ford, get it.
a bottle of piss, and it went all inside the vehicle too, and all over me. So
Good man, Ford.
that's the peaceful protest you're seeing. You guys can't be running red lights.
Ford's a good guy.
You guys are gonna T-bone into some family.
Yeah, for sure.
Drive safe, like, come on.
It was good work. Always out there getting all the content people use day in and day out. Figure out what the heck's going on. So much of it traces back to him. He's excellent at his job. MS Now, BS Now. Chuck Schumer.
Senator Schumer, I have a question for you that you may or may not be able to answer, really. And here's the question. There's been a lot of Democrats who have stood on the floor of the Senate and outside the Senate complaining about and pointing out the inequity, the outrages that are taking place on the streets of Minneapolis today. Why haven't you gotten like a dozen Democratic senators and maybe a dozen New York City cops flown to Minneapolis, stood there in the crowds, and said to the guys wearing masks, we've brought people who know how to operate, we've brought people who know what law and order really means, and you are wrong and they are right, and that's why we're here.
You are so right. We have talked to police officers across the country and the police department in Minneapolis itself. And they know that these ICE agents are so totally untrained in police doctrine. They don't know what to do, how to do it, and it ends up even killing people and causing such mayhem that, yes, you are 100% right. We need our police officers across the country to tell ICE, you don't know what the hell you're doing. You need real police training.
You don't actually expect anyone to believe that, do you? I mean, come on. U.S. is sending, Macro Rubio posting this. The U.S. is sending the first humanitarian shipment to Cuba to help people in need as they continue to recover from Hurricane Melissa. We're working with Catholic Church and partners to ensure aid reaches the Cuban people directly, not the illegitimate regime. Trump admin stands with Cuban people. Catholic Church, huh? I guess when it comes to Cuba, the list of options of like who to work with is probably pretty short. So, yeah. Senate's just blocked House-passed legislation giving tens of billions of dollars to big rich insurance for 3 years under Obamacare. Blocked. Oh, okay. Now we get Trump here. Some highlights. I missed this. Signing something.
Shortly before you all came in, the president signed 2 executive actions. The first is the result of a Section 232 trade investigation into critical minerals supplies. What it does is it sets up a mechanism, a process by which the United States will seek to secure its international supply chain of critical minerals and critical mineral-derived products. The second is actually the result of another Section 232 trade investigation, this one into semiconductors. It sets up a 2-phase process. Under the first phase, semiconductors that are imported into the United States of America that are not then used domestically to build out RAI or computing architecture here will be subject to a 25% tariff. So, for example, semiconductors that were transshipped through the United States to other foreign countries would be subject to that 25% tariff. But those are 2 executive actions that the president reviewed shortly before you all came in.
So they're going to sell chips, basically, and it's a chip. It's not the highest level, but it's a very good level. And China wants them, and other people want them, and we're going to be making 25% on the sale of those chips, basically. So we're allowing them to do it, but the United States is getting 25% of the chips in terms of the dollar value, and I think it's a very good deal, great deal. They're taking billions of dollars. And they've done a fantastic job. But it's not the Blackwell or the Rubin. Those are the 2 top, but it's a very good chip. And people want it.
What's the other one? Blackwell or what?
But it's not the Blackwell or the Rubin.
The Rubin? Not heard of that.
Those are the 2 top, but it's a very good chip. And people want
We have the best chips. Great chips. They're wonderful chips.
it. And
They taste so good.
I think it's in our best interest to do. The leaker has been found and is in jail right now. And that's the leaker on Venezuela. They're a very bad leaker. So there could be some others, and we'll let you know about that. We're out on their trail. But the leaker has been found, and the leaker's in jail. And will probably be in jail for a long time. Let's see what happens. The leaker has been
on Iran.
Been notified and pretty strongly, but we'll find out what that all means. But we've been told that the killing in Iran is stopping, and it's stopped, and it's stopping. And there's no plan for executions or an execution or executions. So I've been told that a good authority. We'll find out about it. I'm sure if it happens, we'll all be very upset, including you will be very upset, but that's just gotten to me, some information that the killing has stopped, that the executions have stopped. They're not going to have an execution.
Interesting. The United States is moving its carrier strike group from the South China Sea to the Middle East. say it's pretty obvious. It's about to get a bit crazy. We'll see. Tom Homan reveals the DOJ, FBI, and HSI are actively investigating left-wing terrorist groups and says accountability is coming. Yep.
I just left the meeting about 20 minutes ago here at the White House. I can't say a lot, but let me say this. Okay. We are aware of this coordinated effort. We are aware that this is being financed. We are aware that there are actual groups, well coordinated, to attack the men and women of ICE and to try to prevent them from doing their jobs.
Big week ahead.
Accountability is coming because we're working very closely with DOJ, the FBI, HSI. We're doing a deep dive into this. We'll follow the money. We'll follow these groups. We'll investigate these groups. Justice has come to these people. I just left.
Rocky Mountain Voice will be live streaming Tina Peters' court hearing. Saw a bit of that.
Today, I'm delighted to sign the Whole Milk for Healthy Kids Act into law, which is a very important thing for our farmers, and I think maybe more important for our people, the people that drink milk. This is the first bill signing of the new year, and it will ensure that millions of school-aged children have access to high-quality milk as we make America healthy again. I want to thank Secretary of Agriculture Brooke Rollins, who's behind me, Secretary of Health and Human Services Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Senators John Boozman and Mike Crapo, Roger Marshall, Peter Welch, as well as Representative G.T. Thompson and Tim Walberg, all great people. Also with us today is USDA National Nutrition Advisor Dr. Ben Carson, my friend for a long time. We went head-to-head, and it was not easy going head-to-head with Ben. Craig Gay still looks good. That's because he drinks a lot of milk. And some of our nation's wonderful dairy farmers and their children. They're going to be farmers for a long time, we hope. As it currently stands, schools participating in the National School Lunch Program are only able to offer students low or non-fat milk options. That was changed during the Obama administration, and a lot of people disagreed with it at the time. With this legislation, schools will finally be able to expand their offerings to include nutritious whole milk. It's actually a legal definition, whole milk. And it's whole with a W for those of you that have a problem. Most of the media will get that.
Perfect to follow up to the new real food pyramid.
This is the perfect follow-up to the new real food pyramid, and Secretary Kennedy and Secretary Rollins announced that last week. You probably heard. This legislation also allows parents to directly request a substitute for milk for children with dairy intolerance. Previously, parents were required to submit a written statement from a doctor, but we're eliminating that rather ridiculous policy, allowing parents to choose what is best for their child, which is a big move. Hard to believe that that would be a big thing, but it is. And of course, these changes will be major victories for the American dairy farmers, who we love and who voted for me in great numbers, I will say. I think I got every one of them. In December, I also signed the Secure Rural Schools Reauthorization Act, and I'm proud to say that these two pieces of legislation will give school-aged children across the country the resources and support that they need, not just to succeed, but really to thrive in life and later on in life.
Mm-hmm. Sec Rollins displays a chart showing the drops in certain food prices under POTUS.
How are we doing with food prices, bringing them down?
Yes, sir. Well, I'm glad you asked because I brought a chart and that just happened to be right behind me. So speaking of milk, milk is actually way down. And I know we're here to talk about that today. Obviously,
44%.
That's right, sir.
44% down. Milk, 44% down.
Eggs is way down. Milk is way down. This is just since we took office, sir. Fresh whole chicken down 2%, cheese down, tomatoes down, butter down. Of course, eggs are way down, potatoes down almost 3%, fresh fruits down almost 3%. But this is just the beginning. And as we continue to bring the cost of farming down, bring the cost of inputs down, open up the markets, support our farmers, we'll see even more affordability moving forward.
And eggs are down 31%, so it's really something. How are we doing with food prices?
Over a decade ago, Michelle Obama in this very room made an announcement on a short-sighted campaign to ditch whole milk in the schools. Foolish.
Thank you.
So stupid. I don't know why that was ever done. Ridiculous. Like, who in their right mind, by the way, would ever drink anything but whole milk? If you're going to drink milk, like, why would you subject yourself to piss water, like 2% in skim? Fuck that. Pardon my French. Whole milk or bust.
What a joy and an honor it is to be here. I feel like I have the best job in the world with representing all of these farmers. And Mr. President, not in our lifetime, has been a president who loves and supports our farmers more, and certainly the dairy farmers. I want to thank all of our farmers here today, sir. Most of them are 5th and 6th generation. They represent states from all across our country, and bringing the children to and seeing what the next generation of dairy farmers looks like. The amazing thing is some of these farmers back here from Butler, Pennsylvania, he
Where?
Butler, Pennsylvania.
Doc.
I love Butler. I do.
Yeah, and they love you. They love you. But he milks about 40 to 60 cows. And then we have Jamie from Wisconsin, who milks about 5,000 cows. So they represent all across the spectrum and what this means. And I think it's important to note that in the last year, your support for these American farmers, for rural America. The One Big Beautiful bill was the largest investment in rural America in history. I think that's important to note. The trade, and I see my friend Jamison Greer over there and Howard Lutnick on this end, we've opened up more than 24 different markets. Milk exports, dairy exports are up 23% just in the last year. And when you think about the ag deficit that happened under Joe Biden and the 4 years, we went from a surplus of agriculture products when we left the first time to a $50 billion deficit when we came back. So these are massive, massive wins for America, and I think it's important to note that. I also want to note, and you said it as well, that over a decade ago, Michelle Obama, in this very room, made an announcement on a short-sighted campaign to ditch the whole milk in schools, and that's what we're working to fix today.
Good. Needs to be fixed.
We have some milk here. It's been sitting here for 5 days, so it's from the original bottle, and I brought it so the press can have some. You can swig it all out of it. Remember the old days when we were kids, everybody shared a bottle? Today we tend not to do that, but if you'd like to, if you trust the person that you're drinking after, it's right here.
It's been sitting out for 5 days.
It's yours, okay?
Go ahead.
Semi-fresh, 5-6 days old. Thank you. We have...
Oh my gosh.
I want to echo what Brooke said about finally having a president that sees the alignment between farm prosperity, good food policy, and the health of our children. These are common sense associations. Democrats have been talking about them for eons. Republicans have been talking about them. We finally have a president that is implementing these policies and getting real food to our children. Today, President Trump signs the Whole Milk for Healthy Kids Act of 2025, a long overdue correction to the school nutrition policy that puts children's health first. For years, Washington treated fat, especially saturated fat, as the enemy. It made a war on saturated fat. This is the peacetime president. He's made it 8.5 deals ending wars, and he's also ended the war on saturated fat. As a result, whole and 2% milk disappeared from school menus Even though science has never shown that whole milk harms children, evidence increasingly shows the opposite. The panoply of nutrients in whole milk is critical to brain development and physical development in our children. Whole and 2% milk provide 13 essential ingredients critical for growth, development, immune system function, and overall health, including protein, calcium, vitamin D, and healthy fats. Yet since these milk options were removed more than a decade ago, school milk consumption and meal participation have declined dramatically. Today, between 68% and 94% of school-age boys and girls fail to meet recommended dairy intake, according to federal guidelines.
Wow.
And schools limit milk choices. The kids do not move to healthier substitutes. They move to caffeinated drinks, to sugar drinks, and to sweetened beverages with little or no nutritional value and the potential to wreak havoc on metabolic health, which is driving the chronic disease epidemic in our country. During the same period that whole milk was regulated out of lunchroom, rates of childhood obesity and diabetes rose significantly. Removing whole milk did not improve health, it damaged it. Thanks to President Trump's leadership, this law fixes that mistake. It allows schools in the National School Lunch Program to offer whole, reduced fat, low fat, or fat-free, flavored or unflavored, organic or conventional. It restores choice to schools, parents, and students, and encourages consumption of nutrient-dense foods that kids will actually drink. The law also removes unnecessary bureaucracy by allowing parents or legal guardians to request milk substitutes without the necessity of involving a doctor. And it corrects a flawed technical rule by excluding fluid milk from saturated fat calculations that distorted school menus. Milk fat is not junk food. Treating it that way undermined nutrition and ignored the science. Last week, Secretary Rollins and I unveiled President Trump's new food pyramid and updated our dietary guidelines with a clear message: eat real food. This law puts that principle into action. As Secretary of Health and Human Services, I support this reform because it aligns federal policy with evidence-based nutrition, not ideology or dogma. Healthy kids need real food. They need real protein. They need healthy fats, and they need policies grounded in reality and the science. I want to thank President Trump again for his vision, for signing this bill, for continuing to put children's health first. This is exactly the kind of practical change that will make America healthy again.
So today I'm delighted to sign the Whole Milk for Healthy Kids Act into law, which is a very important thing for our farmers, and I think maybe more important for our people, right? The people that drink milk. This is the first bill signing of the new year, and it will ensure that millions of school-aged children have access to high-quality milk as we make America healthy again.
It's important what that brain is getting during the development. Is it getting soda or is it getting milk?
So milk would help your cognitive ability.
Absolutely. You can tell who's been drinking.
Take a cognitive test.
Yes.
I've taken a lot of them. I've aced every one of them because I drink milk.
It does the body good.
They need to get Trump out there for some of those old need to bring back the old milk commercials. Honestly, I don't know why they're not doing that. Those were iconic, man. Everyone from my generation, and I don't know how many previous to mine, instantly recognize that. That ought to be brought back, in my opinion. How did those go again? Got milk, yeah.
Drink your milk, kids. I don't want milk. Milk's for babies.
Yeah, babies.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah?
babies.
Well, I happen to know that milk helps build strong bones, so drink up. Well, Mr. Miller told me he never drinks milk. Look at him.
Yeah.
Hi, kid.
Oh, that's not good.
This is great TV right there. Milk. What happened? What happened? What happened to us?
It seems like the government is everywhere these days, including your milk. In 1937, the federal government created a huge bureaucracy to establish and enforce milk prices. This maze of...
I don't know what this is. Out of my milk. Okay. Interesting. Heaven or hell.
Tom, can I make a suggestion? You're fired!
Welcome to eternity.
Flowers grow low, then they die. Rivers flow low, then run dry.
Heaven!
But a kiss is a kiss for all time.
No, it's love that? No. Oh, you're in hell, buddy. This is most definitely hell.
Where am I?
Got milk.
That wasn't bad either. What happened to these, dude? They just like disappeared. I don't know when, but they did.
Whole milk is a wonderful beverage. Good protein. We talk about real food. It is real food. Healthy fats, important nutrients. You look at vitamin D, you look at calcium, phosphorus, the things that are absolutely essential for bone development and for teeth. But as a neurosurgeon, the thing I really like is what the brain, what it does for the brain. You know, the brain starts to develop right after consumption.
Yours truly basically lives on milk products. It's all I eat. It's all I drink.
And adds
no wonder I've got such a big head.
Millions of neurons every single day. Continues to do that right up until the mid to late 20s. Now, it's important what that brain is getting during the development. Is it getting soda or is it getting milk? Whole milk.
Milk. Thank you, Mr. Carson. Oh, Troy Nails, I'm on my way to the first J6 Select Subcommittee hearing. Oh, that was today?
Hey, folks.
Well, shit.
Troy Nails. I'm heading over now to the Rayburn House Office building. I was honored to be asked to be on the J6 Select Committee. The purpose of our Select Committee
Are these public hearings?
To investigate the initial sham committee, which was Benny Thompson, Liz Cheney, crying at him. I have the old January 6th, their report.
Nice.
And I can poke holes in it all day long. The American people today will start hearing truth about January 6th. Why were the Capitol Police so ill-prepared to deal with that day? So the questions are going to be answered, and I believe this is an opportunity for America, for the first time, to hear truth about January 6th. This report, 845 pages, everything's about Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump. Trump had nothing to do with what they call as an insurrection. So we're going to expose it today. This is our first hearing. I'm looking forward to having some meaningful debate and dialogue on this issue, because the American people, again, the American people need to hear the truth about January 6th. And that's my goal and objective today.
Huh. Well, shoot, I didn't know this was going on today. Oh, here's Hillary Clinton's empty chair from her deposition that she didn't go to.
We'll go on the record. Good morning. This is a deposition of former Secretary Hillary R. Clinton conducted by the House Committee on Oversight and Government Reform. On July 23, 2025, the Subcommittee on Federal Law Enforcement unanimously voted to approve a motion directing the committee to authorize and issue a subpoena to former Secretary Clinton for a deposition. I'm going to note for the record that former Secretary Clinton is not present. The time is 10:05. We are going to mark items for the record. We will mark as Exhibit 1 a cover letter from Chairman Comer dated August 5th, 2025, enclosing the deposition subpoena and email confirmation from former Secretary Clinton's attorney, David Kendall, accepting the letter and the subpoena. We will mark as Exhibit 7 the deposition notice issued by the committee on December 12th, 2025. We will mark as Exhibit 8 a letter dated December 15th, 2025 from Chairman Comer to Mr. Kendall, again urging his clients to appear and referencing that failure to appear will initiate the prospect of contempt proceedings. The letter also encloses the updated deposition subpoena for today's date and email confirmation from Mr. Kendall accepting the letter and subpoena. I will note that the time is now 10:07 a.m. and former Secretary Clinton has still not appeared. Does the chairman wish to add anything to the record?
Yes. Good morning. We're here today for the deposition of former Secretary Hillary Clinton, and she did not appear. Just like her husband, Secretary Clinton is defying our duly authorized congressional subpoena. The Oversight Committee will also initiate contempt of Congress proceedings against the former Secretary of State for defying the law.
Okay, Rep. Harriet Hagman throws cold water on Democrats' insurrection narrative. Here we go. First clip.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Romano, did you prosecute anyone related to January 6th for engaging in an insurrection?
No, Congresswoman.
I didn't think so. So Mr. Raskin's statement that someone was a convicted insurrectionist is actually inaccurate. Isn't that correct?
I wouldn't say it's inaccurate. Well, a convicted insurrectionist.
She wasn't a convicted insurrectionist, was she?
Would the gentlelady yield?
No, I will not. Mr. Romano.
You accept seditious conspiracy as insurrection?
Mr. Romano, I will reclaim my time. Mr. Romano, did you prosecute anyone for engaging in an insurrection related to January 6th?
For the crime of insurrection?
You did not.
I have been working on this bill for 15 years, and thank you.
That's amazing.
Because of
wow, quite a long time.
Your support and your leadership, we were able to get this across the line.
It's such a shame that it would be so hard.
Common
Yeah, 15 years.
sense was lost, and in the benefits today go to those precious children that we see over there. It goes to our dairy farm families who work so hard 7 days a week. There's no day off for a dairy farmer. And quite frankly, our rural communities who, when the misguided move to take whole milk and 2% milk and flavor out of the schools, we lost a generation, probably 2 generations of milk drinkers, and it devastated those rural communities because you lose the dairy farms, then you lose all the supplies, businesses, and then you lose grocery stores, and you lose community pharmacies. Well, that day ends today with your signature. We reverse that trend, and we build a robust rural economy. And I'll just close with what will be the theme of my next bumper sticker, whole milk heals.
Amen. That's right. That's what they say.
Okay. Oh, cute. Young boy explains to the president where milk comes from. Interesting.
My name is Jesse. I am 6 years old. I am 7 years old. I want to be an engineer.
I am 6 years old. I am 7 years old.
When I grow up, I am a first grader. I also know where does milk come from.
Nice. Good thing to know.
Where does it come from?
It comes from the titty.
So first farmers
I was waiting for it. He didn't do it.
Milk it, and then next they put it into a coal tank, and then to take the germs out, they put it very hot, and then they put it back in the coal tank, and then they hauled it to somewhere that is cold in a big refrigerator. My name is Jesse. I am 6.
That's adorable. Good for him. Ilhan Omar doubling down. Insults our reporter again.
Congresswoman Omar, yesterday you told me to please read when I asked you about the $9 billion fraud that you denied is happening, but I have it right here. I read. Look, Chairman Comer opens hearing on massive fraud scandal, $9 billion.
That's what Comer believes because he's as smart as you are.
It's not just Comer. It's Scott Besson. It's federal prosecutors. It's House Oversight. And it's Minnesota State reps.
You could have that, ma'am. I think you need to get examined because your brain has been fried in some way, and it's not okay. I really hope you get some help. You and the Republicans here. Take care, okay, ma'am?
I'm sorry I couldn't go to the learning centers that you're running over in Minnesota, but I think you should perhaps read what's actually.
Need one of those learning centers.
I need one of those learning centers.
Yes, see it.
Congresswoman.
Quality leering. We need quality leering, please. Someone give them a call. I know their phone number is probably not working, but try anyway. Surprise, surprise, crooked Hillary didn't show up for her deposition.
Hi, Andy Biggs here, coming back from the Hillary Clinton deposition. And the reality is she didn't show up today either. She and her husband, former President Bill Clinton, both sent statements after agreeing to come in and appearing to want to come in. But their statements actually leave more questions than answers. One of the things that Jeffrey Epstein always said was that he helped set up the Clinton Foundation. Well, Bill Clinton, in his statement that we received today, said that after he left the presidency, he spent significant amounts of time, or something like to that effect, that he spent time working on the Clinton Foundation. And neither he nor former Secretary Clinton addressed any of that and any of their relationship with Bill Clinton, with Jeffrey Epstein. So because they chose not to come in when we had a bipartisan vote on a deposition for a subpoena, well, guess what? We're going to be forced to now have a vote on contempt next week. So I'll keep you posted.
Katie isn't exaggerating about this quote-unquote independent streamer on YouTube. He's been flagrantly breaking laws that are endangering innocent people. At one point, he said, America's breaking down and you care about stop signs. Andrew Mercado on video running red lights, breaking multiple traffic laws, and nearly causing several accidents. Just an FYI, YouTube content can be reported, including live streams, if they are breaking laws.
Yes, you guys are turning into backseat drivers and you need to stop. You have masked federal agents roaming around with full kit on with live ammo in, and you're like, stop running stop signs. We pay the taxpayer-funded services. Where'd they go, straight still? Oh my God, we're stuck behind the fucking bus now.
Who is this fucker?
This fucking bus.
Andrew Mercado. Okay. Leftist agitator, live streamer, Andrew Mercado. So he's a leftist agitator. Weird.
running through red lights. Get the fuck out of here. Quit running through red lights. You're the one following us. This is your one and only warning. For what? For what? Did I say that? No, you guys tell us that all the time. It's on every video. This is your one and only warning. This is your one and only warning. This is your one and only warning. No, but I'm saying
Go ahead. I'm waiting.
I don't know. You guys say it's wrong. We ask you all the time. No, because you're
This is my house. Get the fuck out. I live here. I'm working. Get the fuck out. This is my house. Get the fuck out of my town. Get
Huh? What? I'm sorry, what?
out. Get out. Get out. Get
It must be the one with the purple hair.
out. Get out. This is my fucking block. Get out.
This is your one and only warning, buddy. Yeah, fuck you.
This is my house.
You do not appear to be in a house. You are outdoors. In fact, you're in an intersection. That one can go. DHS, I found another one. I know it's not a migrant, but that one can go. On the tariffs case.
It's a little bit like whole milk. I can't believe we even have a case. This was a case started by very China-centric people and also anti-American people, frankly, people that don't want us to do well. Tariffs have helped us stop 8 wars. They've helped us get the best trade numbers we've ever had. They've helped us get $18 trillion brought into the country. And maybe above all else, they've given us tremendous national security. Just the threat of tariffs. You saw that just yesterday when I put tariffs on a certain country. We won't talk about that country, but you know who it is, based on the fact that if you do business with that country, you know, it's going to make them, it's going to bring them to the table a lot faster. So we have made hundreds of billions of dollars with tariffs. We have very little inflation. Think of it. Inflation's gone down and productivity, everything has gone up. We've never taken in money like we have. We've never had anywhere near $18 trillion invested in our country, neither has any other country. It's the biggest number by maybe 5 times. 5 times, not 5%, 5 times.
It's a really big deal.
Nobody's ever seen numbers like this. We have plants going up. You know, you mentioned I was in Michigan yesterday. I was at the Ford plant where they make the Ford 150. It's one of the original plants. It was from before World War I. It's a giant plant. That plant was probably going to be closed. And 2 years ago, they were doing very poorly. And now they just announced yesterday that they're going to go 24 hours around the clock. 3 shifts, which they
what the shit?
Rarely do.
I got a wild one to pivot to.
That's Ford, and Ford's having the best numbers they've ever had. General Motors having the best numbers they've ever had.
Look at this. Police on the scene in Los Angeles after 2 objects believed to be grenades were found in the front yard of a home.
Good afternoon. I'm Glenn Walker.
And I'm Lou Parker. We are
Anybody lose a couple grenades?
following breaking news in Rosemead. LA County Sheriff's deputies investigating what may be 2 grenades found in the front yard of a home.
Let's get up to Gil Davis overhead in Sky 5 with the latest. Gil?
Well, Glenn and Lou, is around 12:21 this afternoon when the LA County Sheriffs got called out to the scene here. I'm showing you the Ralph Waldo Emerson Elementary School here. This is in the 7500 block of Emerson Place. When the call came out, when deputies arrived, they locked down the school immediately. You can see some of the parents waiting out in the front of the school for their students. But in the meantime, let me take you over to Jackson Avenue here, the 3100 block. This is the home where the suspected grenades were found. As I zoom in here, you see that archway, and there's a home behind the palm tree. That's where we were watching the sheriff's arson and explosive team investigators going into that home to examine what they believe is 2 grenades that were found in the property or on the property. You can see the bomb squad vehicle here.
In and or on.
As well as other deputies. But the area is completely locked down right now as they investigate whether or not those are live ordinances or not. But in the meantime, the school's still on lockdown. Parents still waiting for their children.
Hopefully they were disabled and, you know, just decorative. These days, though, I don't know. Who knows? All right, we got 13 minutes left. Where were we here? Okay, getting asked about Greenland here. Yeah, let's listen in on that.
We're going to see what happens with Greenland. We need Greenland for national security, so we're going to see what happens. They're going to brief me on the meeting right after this conference. In fact, the sooner I get you out, the faster I'm going to know exactly what happened. But we have a very good relationship with Denmark, as you know. We'll see. But, we're doing the Golden Dome. We're doing a lot of things, and we really need it. If we don't go in, Russia's going to go in, and China's going to go in. And there's not a thing that Denmark can do about it, but we can do everything about it.
What they can do.
Well, we're going to see. I mean, look, we're going to see what happens, but we need it. I'm not the first one. This was talked about by President Truman, and 40 years before President Truman, they were talking about it. They've been talking about this for 100 years. This is not anything so new. A lot of people don't realize that. This was a hot subject. Probably not as hot as it is now, but it was a hot subject for a long time. We need it for national security, and that includes for Europe. And I spoke with, as you know, Mark, the head of NATO, and he really wants to see something happen. It's very important for national security.
Right now, it sounds like you are saying that you would potentially acquire Greenland by force. That would be a NATO country.
Are you saying that?
Are you saying that? Would you do that?
No, you're saying that.
Would you acquire
I didn't
that by
say it.
force
No,
right
you're
now?
telling me that that's what I'm
Precisely.
going to do.
That's what they're
You
saying.
don't know what I'm going to do.
So what are the options?
Your
then?
network
Because
doesn't know either.
The Danish
You'll find out.
foreign minister said that there's still fundamental differences after the meeting with Rubio and with the vice president. Are you willing to leave the NATO alliance in order to get what you want with Greenland? What are the options right now?
Well, I wouldn't be telling you what I'm willing to do, certainly. I'm not going to give up options, but it's very important. Greenland's very important for the national security, including of Denmark. And the problem is, there's not a thing that Denmark can do about it if Russia or China wants to occupy Greenland. But there's everything we can do. You found that out last week with Venezuela. There's everything we can do about things such as that. Not going to happen. We're not, I can't rely on Denmark being able to fend themselves off. They were talking about they put an extra dog, and they were serious about this. They put an extra dog sled there last month. They added a second dog sled. That's not going to do the trick.
Denmark fought alongside the United States in both Afghanistan.
Thank you for telling me that. I appreciate it. But I have a very good relationship with Denmark, and we'll see how it all works out. I think something will work out.
One more.
Right now, it sounds like you are...
Same one. Okay. Right there to Iranian foreign minister. Oh, they had him on, huh?
There are reports, sir, that anywhere from 2,500 to more than 12,000 protesters in various cities have been killed by the regime. How many people have been killed?
I have to tell you the story. When terrorist elements led from outside, entered these, protests and started to shoot, police forces, police officers, and security forces. And there were terrorist cells. They came in. They used Daesh-style terrorist, operations. They
no, I don't know.
Got police officers, burned them alive. They beheaded them, and they started shooting at police officers and also
I assume you must have evidence of this.
To the people. So as a result, for 3 days, we had, in fact, fighting against terrorists and not, with the protesters. It was completely a different story. The reason I have to explain, and this is important, why they started to shoot at people, for one reason, they wanted to increase the number of deaths. Why? Because President Trump has said that if there are killings, he would intervene. And they wanted to drag him into this conflict. And that was exactly an Israeli plot. They wanted to drag the President of the United States in this conflict. So they started to increase the number of deaths by killing ordinary people, by killing police officers, by starting a kind of, fighting inside the different cities.
Again, I assume you must have evidence of any of this. Some, any? An address being investigated in Atlanta, Georgia for having 70 people registered to vote. It was closed down 10 years ago.
So we're outside 477 Peachtree Street Northwest. Fabian, what is this place?
So this is apparently a place where there are almost 100 people registered to vote, but it closed down 10 years ago.
10 years?
10 years ago.
So we're outside 477 Peachtree Street.
Wow. Oh, Alyssa Slutkin commenting. Last week, the U.S. Attorney for D.C. asked to interview me because of a 90-second video that President Trump didn't like. Oh, I think it goes a little deeper than that, Alyssa. The intimidation is the point, and it's not going to work. Watch my full response.
I'm Senator Alyssa Slotkin from Michigan. Last week, U.S. Attorney from the District of Columbia, former Fox host Jeanine Pirro, reached out asking to interview me because of a 90-second video that I filmed in November. This is on top of an FBI inquiry that came in from the Counterterrorism Division late last year. To review the bidding, in November, 6 of us with service and veteran background filmed a video restating the Uniform Code of Military Justice, saying that those in the military have a responsibility to reject illegal orders. In response, the president called for us to be investigated, arrested, and ultimately hanged. He ended up tweeting over a dozen times about that, and yesterday in Michigan falsely said that I stole my 2024 election.
You did.
In response to the president's tweets, the threats went through the roof. We had over 1,000 threats come in. Over 100 were credible and are being investigated.
Wah.
I went on 24/7 security from Capitol Police.
Wah.
I had a bomb threat at my house.
Wah.
My parents were swatted in the middle of the night.
Boo-hoo.
And my siblings had cop cars placed in their driveways.
I don't believe that.
And now he's using his political appointees at the FBI and the Department of Justice to follow through with his threats. To be clear, this is the president's playbook. Truth doesn't matter, facts don't matter, and anyone who disagrees with him becomes an enemy, and he then weaponizes the federal government against them. It's legal intimidation and physical intimidation meant to get you to shut up. He's used it with our universities, our corporations, our legal community, and with politicians who falsely believe that doing his bidding and staying quiet will keep them safe. No, I'm not going to do that. Because this
wow. Surprise, surprise.
president does not represent the views of a majority of Americans. Even if you voted for him, I do not believe that his vision of America is shared by a majority of Americans. Because this country is worth fighting for. Our freedom of speech is worth fighting for. Our values, our core values, are worth fighting for. And right now, speaking out against the abuse of power is the most patriotic thing we can do.
Garbage human. Border Commander Greg Bavino announces his men have just arrested multiple serious criminal aliens on the streets of Minneapolis today while being harassed.
It's about crime. Crime, crime, crime. I was just briefed before I came on your show, Will, just a few minutes ago, and 3 illegal aliens, I believe one from Thailand, one from Central America, and I believe one from Zambia, were apprehended just a few hours ago. All 3 had significant rap sheets. All 3 violent assaulters served multiple prison terms. They were let loose to roam the streets here in Minnesota. So this mission is a crime mission first and foremost. That's why we're here, is to go after those violent criminals, those fraudsters, you know, the billions of dollars in fraud that's happened here in Minnesota, Minneapolis. That is why we're here, plain and simple.
Okay.
It's about crime. Crime.
Yep. Caught on camera, Jasmine Crockett blocks cameras and dodges questions after J6 hearing. Wow.
Miss Crockett, why did he just pushed me? Miss Crockett, why were you?
Oh, getting pushy? Is the angry black woman coming out?
Miss Crockett, why did he just pushed me? Miss Crockett, why were you crying for Renee Good, but you wouldn't cry for Ashley Babbitt, Miss Crockett? You were crying fake tears for Renee Good, but not for Ashley Babbitt? This is, come on. She's right there. There's Miss Crockett who was crying crocodile tears for Renee Good, but was crying no tears for Ashley Babbitt.
Well, gotta go back through security. Nope. He'll get you. House Democratic leader Jeffries on President Trump's agenda. We'll skip because fuck him. Senate likely votes at 5:30 p.m. to kill bipartisan war powers resolution to hamstring Trump on intervention in Venezuela. We'll need a simple majority on procedural vote to kill any further debate on this. The admin appears to have talked enough of the 5 GOP defectors from last week, talked to enough of them to convince them to oppose any further action on this. But even if they kill this tonight, this is only the first exercise in the coming weeks on prospective resolutions regarding Greenland, Iran, Colombia, and Cuba. Chairman Loudermilk asked the FBI to use the same investigative techniques that were used to identify the suspected pipe bomber. Oh, yeah, to identify the individuals who built the infamous fake gallows on January 6th. Yeah, why haven't they done that yet?
But there's something else that was brought up by one of my colleagues here was the gallows that were erected. It appears from my previous investigation that the FBI put no resources into identifying who erected the gallows. It's always bothered me that the gallows were allowed to stay up all day long. I mean, they weren't even taken down till late that evening. They were erected at 6 o'clock in the morning when hardly anyone was around. Based on this cast team and this digital data that was there, shouldn't the FBI be able to just go look at that same data and identify whose phones were pinging right at that area of where the gallows was erected at 6 o'clock in the morning? Seems like that should be an easy.
The same investigative model would apply.
Okay, so maybe this is something the current FBI could tackle. But there's something else that was brought up by one of my colleagues.
Wow. Hundreds of public school students are being marched to the Minnesota State Capitol to protest ICE in the middle of a school day. What? Huh? That's insanity. Okay, and then this one, we obviously do not have time to play, but maybe Soko will play it. After my last video exposing over 110 million in fraud, Tim Walz dropped his run for re-election, and multiple federal investigations were launched to stop fraud across the country. In this 51-minute video, David and I, so this must be the video that David said was coming a few days ago, expose another 16 million in fraud as Minnesota welfare programs continue to operate fraudulently and steal from law-abiding taxpayers. Like it, share it around everywhere.
Drop me the link in Zoom chat, and I'll definitely share it for sure.
You know it.
Yeah.
Yep. There we go. Okay. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
I have something to show you.
Shoot,
it's fun. Oh yeah, I got it. It's
I got
funny.
something to show you too.
Good. I used you as a muse, so I have to show you. So I'm going to show you two things because it's kind of funny. So I found something. I was scrolling through Twitter for my content or whatever today, and I ran into this video where this guy he's promoting this Thumbio or whatever to do thumbnails. And it made me think about you because that quick one you did with their round table. So I was like, of course they're selling something. So I went into Grok, and you see the image here. It's got a dude laying on railroad tracks, right? And that's the thumbnail they made. So I was like, well, let me use Grok image and see if I can get Pam ran over by a train. So I said, make an image, right? And of course it made you black. And then I had to put your face in there. And I was like, no, use him. Here you are.
Oh, what the heck?
Yeah. Oh, it's going to get better. Look, I was like, all right, give me a little bit more hands. I need to see the bounding. And then I was like, all right, make it a little bit more vivid. We need to brighten it up. And then I said, yep, use this one, but I still need to see that train.
Isn't that crazy?
Yep, this is what we ended with. There you are, Ben.
So why a train?
Well, because I was using this as I wanted to use this same kind of
just
technique.
as the template. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, yeah, I gotta show them that when I go on.
Isn't that nuts though?
Yeah, Grok image is cool.
This is like, yeah, any one of you could be doing stuff. There's so many things you can use this for.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to build out our new Discord server with that in mind. There's a quick little peek.
Good.
Got a lot to do, but oh, hold on. Where's my share at? Yep, I'm working on it, you guys.
Well, you know, like I said, if you need help, I'm here. I've done a few.
There you go.
Look, there you go. That looks good.
Got some permissions and roles done.
I love it.
Yeah, I gotta. The next thing I want to try to figure out is if I can like tie in AI tools to the server so people can use them like in Discord.
Oh, that's all
sense.
you, dear. That
Yeah.
is, you know me.
I got a lot of research to do on this, but
Yeah.
I'm trying to. I might be able to do some really cool things with this, so we'll see. Wish me luck.
That's the one thing about Discord that, you know, was great, that there was so much, that it was so compatible, user friendly. There was so many different things you could utilize in the bots. You know, it was great. And as long as they, you know, stop trying to target conservatives, we'll be fine. And I think that, you know, from what I can tell, like Cam Higsby has a big server in here. I don't know if you know that, but they seem to have changed their tune on conservatives.
Good.
So hopefully.
Good. Okay.
Yep.
We'll find out.
Well, stay off them train tracks.
Yeah, right. Indeed.
All right, man. Yeah, I'll play that though. That looks good. I'll get on the Nick stuff because I just had some stuff going through Twitter. That'll be fine. Or X, that'll be fine for me.
Cool. All right.
All right.
Well, I'll let you
dude.
get to it.
All right. Thank you, man. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too. Have a good show.
Thank you. Hey, everybody. You saw my images that I made of Pam. Isn't that crazy?